In today's video, guys, we're going to do the ultimate guide on NicoNana, one of the most important dungeons that you should be farming right now. Especially that we have the 2x event coming during the weekend. In the meantime, you don't want to waste your precious stamina by farming gear, XP, or even the GP outpost. Why? Because you want to prioritize shells. During the weekend, you're going to have plenty of time to burn all of your stamina in the other 3 dungeons. In today's video, I'm going to share with you guys quite a few different teams that will enable you to smack this boss. Starting with teams that are using no SSRs at all. We're going to go with different strategies. We're going to go with dot. We're going to go with damage. Pretty much everything that you need to know related to the dungeon. Now, since they actually nerfed this dungeon twice so far, we can actually count on pretty much the same strategies that we used on Nightmare and Hell difficulty. Increase speed, decrease speed, bang, you deal crazy damage versus the boss. As simple as that. So you have tons of different options on how you can do that. You can use dot damage dealers, but we're gonna go into more details in a second. Why is this dungeon so freaking important? Well, it's mainly because it's probably one of the only dungeon that will drop you 4 OP shells. Not 1, not 2, but 4. So if you are looking at the other ones, for example, Sharon, yeah, it drops you a couple of pretty good ones, but they're not all of them crazy, right? Not every single one of them will be a huge help, especially now where we are in the game. Maybe late game, when we have tons of the other shells built up, we're going to come out with more niche strategies and stuff like that. But as it is, literally, NicoNana gives you the best shells. From here as well, you get the Jackal Guard, you are getting the Revelation. The other 2 are good as well, but once again, they are not as impactful at this moment in time. Here as well, we have 2-3 of them that are really good. NicoNana, on the other hand, gives you, of course, the White Fang, which is not only powerful on damage dealers, guys, because on the White Fang, if you guys are paying attention, you can get Swift as one of the Matrix, and then you can get the Swift Raid as well. Swift Rush, Swift Raid, plus something else on it, and bang, your character will have crazy speed, especially if you're able to farm Doki Doki on Inferno. So this is absolutely insane if you're trying to get your units faster. Yes, you might be using White Fang on your, I don't know, on your Kraken, on your Kazuyo, on your Lily, on your Mio, on your Marvel, but it doesn't matter as long as they're fast enough to take their first turn and get the job done, especially in PvP, of course, if we're not going to encounter immunity and all that stuff. Then the Artisan is literally the biggest carry in the entire game. If we're talking about a shell that will enable you to defeat higher content and keep your team alive, this is the best, hands down, because of the shield. And this is a shell that was really underestimated in the beta at the beginning of the game, in the first 1 week or so. A really powerful shell. Then you have, of course, the Gigabyte, crazy good for PvP, for PvE. And you have the Alicorn. Now, the Alicorn is not only good in PvP, but it's crazy good in PvE as well. Having the ability to dispel debuffs is really, really powerful. So, that being said, let's dive straight into it and see exactly what we can do versus this boss. As I've mentioned, I will be sharing a few different teams, not just one, just to basically give you guys some options. I'm actually going to move my big fat head on the other side right there so you guys can see better the units. For the very first team, we are going to use Kachi the God, Valerian, Obol, and Fangus. Now, don't worry if you don't have Obol and Fangus, because we are going to do a team without them 2 in here, okay? Dot damage is pretty useful in here because you can build your units with more survivability as well. You don't have to worry about bringing the defense down, having that increased attack or whatever, right? Kachi the Guard will put the immunity and the increased defense. Very, very important, because all of that will be extremely helpful. On top of it, if by any chance you don't have Fangus available, you might be bringing in a D-Ring, or you might be bringing a different damage dealer in here, or a different support or something like that. Kachi the God actually puts decreased speed with the second skill. Now, one of the main problems that I currently have at the moment, because I do have a Codex shell on Kachi the God, is that I have no skill preset. I cannot prioritize any of the skills, the order. So Kachi is going to use the third skill back to back. I don't want to stay on manual, and you don't want to stay on manual these dungeons that we gotta farm non-stop, right? But I will share all of the builds with you guys in a moment. I'm gonna basically show you how this works. We got resisted on the decreased speed right there, which is fine. Kachi is going to buff. Obol hopefully will land the stun on the side enemies as well. Land more dot. Now I finally managed to fully max my Fangus as well today. So my Obol and Fangus are the only SR units in the entire game on my account that are fully skilled. And they're absolutely really, really powerful. Okay, that's why I've done it. They're a massive, massive carry all around in the endgame content. If you don't have them fully skilled yet, don't worry. I will talk about what you should prioritize. I started using them with no skill ups and they were still getting the job done. Of course, with a higher fail rate and stuff because they were getting resisted more often. But as long as you're winning a few tries here and there, that's definitely still helpful in the very beginning till you get to skill up their most important skills and then move on to the others, right? So we lost Fangus right here. Doesn't really matter. That's mainly because we were constantly either getting resisted on the decreased speed, either on some of the dot damage. We should be able to get a job done with Obol right here. You see, funny enough, he used the second skill straight after the boss had no more buffs. Kachi bringing in the decreased speed right here, which is massive, really, really important. Unfortunately, it seems like we got a stun in there somehow. I'm really not sure how that stun actually dropped on us because we're supposed to have that immunity on. That's why Kachi the God is in this team, right? To ensure that we're getting that immunity. But hey, seems like it still happens. So we're getting that immunity, increased defense once again up, and hopefully it's going to put enough dot damage on the boss right now to kill it, right? The boss was not able to kill my Valerian right there, and there we go, GG's. We managed to get the 3 stars with this. Actually, maybe it wasn't 3 stars with this. I just had the 3 stars from before. I forgot that it's constantly rotating. But this is one viable option. Now, when I've made the very first guide on this dungeon, I've told you guys, if I would not get resisted as often, I know for a fact I do not need to use Lily in the team. So if you don't have, for example, Kachi the God built up, but you should have Kachi built up because it's just too freaking good. You can always drop Kachi and bring in for as a replacement Linglu, right? Linglu is doing an amazing job too. She will give you the immunity, but she will give you a cleanse as well. Now, no increased defense from her, which most likely will be a bit more dangerous in terms of what type of damage the boss will do to your characters. We land a stun with Obol. The reason why I decided to fully skill up Obol, guys, is just to have a higher chance to land that stun. Plus, he's actually a really good unit for PvP as well, not just for PvE, right? He's a very good all-around unit, I would say. Yes, dot doesn't work in every dungeon and stuff. I actually ended up in using both Fangus and the Obol in a Ethernet Rally. Sometimes I am even using them in Amber Track. So overall, yeah, very good units that are worth the investment. So you won't have any regrets if you decide to fully skill them up, right? Fangus has that join in attack that is really, really helpful. Now, I've seen different teams for this particular boss that work as well with Vice. Vice can taunt, can put a decreased attack, can give you a lot of healing. And then we have not Kazuya the Reverie. We have the other version of Kazuya that actually gives you the increased speed and brings you the decreased cooldowns on the skills, right? That is really, really good as well. But I don't have her built at the moment. I will quickly show you a simple example with that team too. So there you go. And you don't need Valerian for that, actually. So we got that done. This was a bit faster. Maybe we had better RNG with the dot, with the decreased speed, etc. So another team that you could potentially use, but as I've mentioned, unfortunately, I am not able to use that team at the moment. Vice is still a work in progress for me. I do think I have gear on him, if I remember it correctly, yes. So you can use Vice. And then we have this SR unit, Kazami Kazuya, basically. So she gives you increased speed, and she gives you a cooldown reduction on skills, which is really, really good. She does have a chance to dispel as well, which once again is really helpful. And this team right here works as well. I really do not remember where I've seen this team. I know I've seen it in somebody's video. Big shout out to whoever made it. Honestly, I can't really remember on which video I saw it, basically. But this is another option. Now, let's just assume that maybe you do not want to go with dot damage. Maybe you don't have your characters skilled up. So this is the build on my Obol. These are his total stats. As you guys can probably notice, I've maxed all of his skills. Now, the one thing that you should prioritize first is the third skill, going all the way up to level 3. Increase the chance of inflicting dot to 30%. Then, when you're going to have more spare lattice, you can come and do the stun. You can go and do the first skill because the dot will be for 2 turns instead of 1 at maximum level, which is very, very helpful. And then you can do the second skill too. Now with the second skill, he will remove the buffs from the boss and replace them with dot damage. At maximum level, he's going to replace 2 buffs instead of 1. But as you guys probably noticed in all of the runs that we've done, he never uses that freaking skill when the boss has buffs. Always uses it when the boss doesn't have buffs. So maybe this is a mistake, skilling this second skill on him. On Fangus, let me just quickly show you the build as well. This is basically what we have on. We have the Halloween shell on him, and I do have time with, and actually no, I don't have a full time with on him. My bad. I fully max him, so I think it's more important to max Fangus over Obol. So right here, you're gonna have a much higher chance to put a dot and decrease speed, but the cooldown will go down to 3 turns, which is going to be massive. The passive on him will follow up with an attack, right? Increases the assist chance to 50%. Every time somebody joins in, every time somebody does an attack, he has a chance to join in and land another dot on the boss. And then, of course, because of the passive, you kind of like want to max the first skill, so you increase the chance of inflicting the dot to 35%. But that's pretty much all in terms of the dot team. I don't have Shadow Sanya to show you that as well, but that could be another option. Now, Valerian has this build at the moment with a Gigabyte, slightly slowish. I do have her second and third skill maxed. And who else did we use? We used Linglu. This is my Linglu right here. I do have the first skill max, but this works without it as well. You don't have to stress about that too much. And we used Kachi the God, right? Which is hiding somewhere right here. So Kachi the God only has the third skill max. At some point in the future, I will most likely do the second skill too, because it has a shorter cooldown, and landing that decreased speed I think is really good, not just for this content, but in general, right? But Kachi is on a Swift, and we have the Codex shell. You do need around 180 plus effect accuracy to make sure you are extending the duration of buffs. Now, if we are going to try something a bit different, so we're going to bring in Deering. The thing is, when you're using this team, you really need to take in consideration the stuns and all that. So we're going to bring in a Kloss. This is something that I got recently. We're going to try to do it without her as well. She will bring the decreased speed and the decreased attack. We're going to replace her with a different unit to basically try and do the same thing. Then we are going to bring in, once again, Valerian. She will give us the increased attack and offer us more support. And I'm going to bring in Kachi the God. Increased defense and immunity. So we don't have to worry too much about the actual stun and things like that, because we are not going to have any real control versus the enemies. Now, we won't have increased speed, so our damage won't be as crazy in here. If we would bring in the increased speed, our damage would be much, much better. So instead of Kachi the God, right here, you could potentially bring in Tsuki Omi. She gives you the increased attack, the increased speed, and then you're going to be able to decrease the cooldowns of skills with her as well, which is really, really helpful. You could bring in Kazami Kazuyo as well, which will work really, really well in here too. The main thing is that this dungeon, it is much easier than it was before. And as I've mentioned in previous videos, it's very important for them to give us at least one module dungeon and one shell dungeon that is easy, to be able to get better shells, modules, to allow us to progress into the other ones, right? So, bang, nice and easy. But we've done this with claws. Let's see if we can do it without claws, because we might not be saying that is nice and easy. So, my very first team on this boss was actually Marvel, Dinah, Lily, and I think was Freya, if I remember it correctly. I might be wrong on it, but we're going to try to bring in Marvel for the decreased speed. It should work. You're just basically dropping all of those stats on the boss, the damage reduction. That's one of the main things. So let me just quickly bring the shell. I'm not going to bring Freya in. I'm going to stick with Valerian. So we need to bring in some accuracy. So let's get some accuracy with some speed on. And what do we have available that's not really equipped on others? We're gonna get that. Where are we? We already have good speed, so I don't have to stress about it too much. Freya, I'm not really using you at the moment, so give me the accuracy. 170 accuracy works more than fine. Do I have enough swift? No, I need another swift piece right here, and that should get the job done. So now he's fast enough. Then we have Dinah. Dinah, of course, another super awesome character that will enable us to land the defense down and do additional damage. So I'm quickly going to change this codex from Obol. I'm going to bring it onto Dinah, and this once again is a pretty straightforward team. So we're going to load that. Do we have enough accuracy on her? 118. Considering that Marvel is going in front, putting the decreased resistance, we might be able to get this sorted. Right, so now that we have most of the things except the increased speed, maybe we're going to be able to get the job done, right? Let's see. So we're going to go in here. The increased speed would boost our damage even more. That's why Kazami Kazuyo will actually be pretty damn good in here. So we're going to drop those units. If I would bring Freya instead of Valerian, that would boost a bit my stats actually too. So maybe it's a bad idea to bring Freya, but let's try without Freya first, right? Let's try without her first. So that's 1, that's 2. And let's see how much damage we're going to deal with dealing. Before, I was at a point where I was almost one-shotting him on the lower difficulties, because I was running the exact same team more or less. Now we got resisted right here, or we haven't actually landed most of the debuffs, which sucks because the damage is really bad. So I'm going to quickly restart this run. Marvel, don't let me down, bro. What are you doing? And I'm going to try Freya after. Okay, so we got them from him. Let's see if Dinah is going to... Okay, we're missing one, but that's fine. You see? Crazy good damage. Crazy good damage like this. So if we would have that increased speed too, that would make it probably almost one-shotting the boss. I think we would get close to that level of one-shotting the boss. And we are pretty damn close to it. Now, I have the count shell on my dealing at the moment. I don't have a white fang for him. It shouldn't be a massive difference in terms of damage, at least from all of the testing that I've done. More or less, it tends to pretty much do the same amount of damage. But of course, what will make a difference is what gear sets you have on your units and all that, right? So Marvel coming in again with a decreased speed, but unfortunately he got resisted. Deering going in with his skill, and if we would have had a decreased speed, the boss would have been dead right now, okay? And I will try it with Freya as well, just to basically see. But there you go. No claws in here. It gets the job done too. I'm still looking for a freaking perfect artisan, but it seems like it's not going to drop. Or at least not yet. Now if I'm going to head over to Freya, let's see if that will actually help us. So I will need to put some accuracy on her as well. And let's see. What do we have available? You see, you get a white fang match with speed, a swift, and this swift raid as well. You're going to get so much speed on your characters, guys. It's crazy. I still don't have that perfect white fang just yet, but I will get it. And yeah, that will enable you to get crazy speed on your characters. And you're not building them for damage with a white fang. You're just building them for speed. And that will be a massive massive help, especially at this stage. If we're going to... let's see. I can probably put this on you. I don't have enough Swift, but I'm going to basically bring in a shell, and that will get me enough. So I don't need that on you. Let's see, where are we right now? 146 speed. That should get the job done. So I'm going to try to do it without Valerian. Valerian is just so freaking good, man. Unbelievable. So let's give it a go like this and see what happens. Are we gonna... Okay, we got resisted on the decreased resistance. Man, I hate this freaking resistance in here. We got resisted on Freya too. Maybe I need to give her more accuracy. Yeah, I'm gonna quickly do that because I don't think I have enough accuracy on Freya. That helps as well, right? That helps as well. So let's see. What is Freya? 72. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. So let's get another effect accuracy piece on here. And I'm gonna change that one. Actually, it's defense. I can get the one from Obol. There we go. Beautiful. And now we have 128%. Now, Marvel has a lot of freaking effect accuracy. He shouldn't be getting resisted as often as he does, but it is what it is. It's just not having that 100% chance to land. And it seems like for some characters, not landing the debuff, because the skill doesn't proc that chance, it appears as resisted. For some, it doesn't. So it's pretty odd. Okay, we dropped both of them. Freya, come on. Okay, we haven't dropped that debuff on the boss. So let's see now. We do have some of the buffs in there, but we did not have the debuffs, which kind of sucks. So now the boss will take quite a few turns. We lost our Freya. So maybe it's much better to keep Valerian in. Why? Because she's freaking OP. She is freaking OP. You're not getting the buffs from Freya only when you're using the second skill, right? So that's definitely something that won't work as good. Yeah. As you can see, Valerian much better than Freya in here. I thought that maybe I'm going to get to do more damage. We did not have a chance to land the debuff. If I would bring in a different unit to give me that increased speed too, and the increased attack, it would be quite a bit of a difference. I'm actually going to try and see if the lack of increased attack is worth trading for increased speed. Okay, so it seems like I don't have a shell on my freaking Freya now. But I have to back out of here again. I cannot wait for them to change this UI so you can actually select your character from that screen without having to back out of it, because I find it extremely annoying. But hey, what do I know, right? So let's get this increased speed and see how does it compare with the lack. How does it compare with the increased attack rather than the lack of increased attack? So Freya out, Lily in. I don't need to manual, actually. I can let it play as it is. Because my Dyna was fast enough anyway. So let's see. No increased attack. Okay, you can definitely see the difference. You can definitely see the difference because with the increased attack, we were dropping like what? 70% of the HP. So the increased attack from Valerian is way more important than having the increased speed from Lily. But as you guys probably noticed, rotating Deering fast enough to use that skill twice made us farm this dungeon much faster. Now, this is not going to work like this every single time, and that is mainly because some of the side ads might stun your Lily if they do take a turn, right? I actually haven't paid attention. If we have enough control on them so they don't take a turn because of Marvel, that's going to be the fastest team that you could potentially do for this dungeon. Hopefully, you found this helpful, guys. Let me know in the comments down below what other teams are you guys using. And are you going ham on shells now? Or you're still going to continue to play the game as usually, and you're not really going to bother too much with the 2x event. If you enjoyed the content, do me a favor. Smash a like, subscribe to the channel. It really helps a lot. I'm trying to get to that 1,000 subscribers. And yeah, I need you guys to help me out. But as usual, much love, and I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.